Country music superstar Morgan Wallen arrested for throwing a chair off the roof of a bar in Nashville. Allegedly, the chair thrown off the roof by Wallen landed next to some police officers, and these officers were not too happy to almost have a chair land on top of their head. Wallen is charged with criminal recklessness and disorderly conduct. Now, I thought this was America. How can it be a crime to throw a chair off the roof of a building, especially if no one was actually hurt? Well, number one, it is not illegal to throw a chair off the roof of a building, but it is a crime to throw a chair off the roof of a building when that chair could hurt somebody. In fact, it's a crime to do almost any action that creates a substantial risk of bodily injury to another person. Let's break it down. In Indiana, criminal recklessness is defined as a person who recklessly, knowingly, or intentionally performs an act that creates a substantial risk of bodily injury to another person. Now, criminal recklessness starts as a B misdemeanor, punishable by 6 months in jail, but if criminal recklessness is committed with a deadly weapon, it jumps to a level 6 felony with up to 2.5 years in jail. Unfortunately for Wallen, it is pretty clear that throwing a chair from the roof of a building when people are on the street below and the possible path of that chair is criminal recklessness. And in Indiana, a chair, as silly as it may sound, fits the definition of a deadly weapon. So if Morgan Wallen had thrown a chair in Indiana and that chair landed near some people, he would likely be facing criminal recklessness charges in Indiana too. Morgan Wallen is also charged with disorderly conduct for that same chair throwing incident. In Indiana, one of the 3 definitions of disorderly conduct is when a person recklessly, knowingly, or intentionally engages in fighting or tumultuous conduct. Disorderly conduct is a Class B misdemeanor, punishable by up to 6 months in jail. Now, there is no evidence that Wallen was involved in fighting, so for this to be disorderly conduct, he would have to be engaged in tumultuous conduct. What is tumultuous conduct? Well, tumultuous conduct is defined in Indiana Code as conduct that results in or is likely to result in serious bodily injury to a person or substantial damage to property. So throwing a chair off the roof near people below could be both criminal recklessness and disorderly conduct. All hope is not lost for Morgan Wallen. How can he defend against these charges? Well, there's lots of ways. He can claim it was self-defense. Was someone coming at him and he needed to throw the chair to deflect the possible attack? He can argue that it was an accident, that he meant to pick up the chair and move it, but it slipped out of his hands and fell over the side of the building. He can argue that it wasn't him. He can argue that he slipped while moving the chair and the chair fell out of his hands and over the side of the building. Now, I've seen that video with the chair flying over the roof. It's grainy as all heck. We don't know what happened, and hopefully Morgan Wallen exercised his Fifth Amendment rights, and when questioned by the police said, "I'll plead the Fifth." This is an absolutely crazy story. He's a country music superstar, and he was just in Indianapolis, where he did not throw any chairs. If you've watched this far, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. And remember, always plead the Fifth.